Now we enter into our first information of 2011. Sorry. This is important. Listen carefully. Very important. In Genesis chapter 1. Genesis chapter 1. Very important. Genesis chapter 1. Verse 26 and verse 31. Genesis chapter 1 verse 26 and verse 31. Genesis chapter 1 verse 26 stated clearly, create man to our likeness in our resemblance. Create man to our likeness and to our resemblance. And let men multiply upon planet Earth. Because God has created man. He has formed man. And the plan of God for men, while they've been at the Garden of Eden, is for men to be prosper. Is for men to multiply. Because the plan of God is to have people, children, to Adam and Eve. And he could have harmony with them because the glory of God was upon Adam and Eve. The presence of God was upon Adam and Eve. The person of God was upon Adam and Eve. The mercy of God, the attribute of God, the compassion of God, the justice of God was upon Adam and Eve. That's the reason the glory of God was there. We just explained what means the glory of God. We just explained that a man was taking the same way God was talking. We just explained when Adam gave the name to those animals, God said yes. When he said to this animal, this is a dog, God said yes, it's a dog. When he said this animal, this is a cat, God said yes, it's a cat. When he said this animal is a lion, I gave the name a lion, God said yes. The meaning that God was in harmony, in communion, in sharing, in intimacy, in participation, in agreement, in unity with mankind. But this unity has been broken. Let's see what happened in Genesis chapter 1 verse 26 that you create. Let create men to our likeness. And let give them men dominion upon the fish in the sea, upon the fowl in the air, upon the animal, those, on planet Earth. Meaning God has given men domination upon the fish. Those shark, men could have said, Adam could have said to shark, stop. That's it. Those fowls, those birds, that Adam could have called them, come down. They will have come down. He has a dominion. Those animals, God could say to those elephants of the lion, I want you to sit here to stay. They will have listened to him. Because God said, let men multiply. Meaning that God has a plan with Adam. That's the word of God in Genesis chapter 1 verse 26 and 27. After his creation, he said, let men multiply, having children. That was the plan, original plan of God. And fill, this planet. That was the plan of God. And everyone should have the glory of God. That was the original plan of God. And God said, assujetti. He gave men dominion. That was Adam has a kingdom. If he gave you dominion, that means you're a king. You have a kingdom. And assujetti what? The bird? No. Those animals, those lions, they haven't been carnivore yet. They used to eat only grass. There is no sin. Those sharks? No. Assujetti, who is going to be assujetti? Those previous spirit that was living prior Adam. We're not going to go to those pre-Adamic spirit, those demons, no. But God knows that. God said assujetti. The man has the dominion. He was a king. Let's see what happened in verse 31st. God see everything was good. God see everything was good. And he said, this is the evening and this is the morning. And God said, it's in the 6 days. This is the evening and this is the morning, and it was a 6 days. Now, God created man on the 6 days. Number 6. On the 6th day. Why God didn't create man on the first day? Why God didn't create man on the 3rd day? On the 4th day, when he created the sun to preside the day, the moon and the star to preside the night. Why he didn't do that? Why he haven't done so even on the 5th day when he created the fish in the sea? Why God has to wait for 6 days? The number 6. Why he has to wait 6 days to create man? This is very important. God created man on the 6 days. So God has a specific time to create man to be in harmony with him. God has a specific time to create someone to be in company with him. God has a specific time to form someone who's supposed to be in unity with him, in harmony with him, in fellowship with him, in activity with him. Because on the 6 days, God created men. And God gave men abilities to dominate, and his glory was upon men. On the 6 days, we know God is perfect. We know God is perfect. God is perfect. Unity is God, and God is perfect. What does it mean, perfection? We know in Isaiah 45 verse 18, the book of Isaiah 45 verse 18 stating God is perfect. Everything God did is perfect. Deuteronomy 32 verse 4 stating the work of God is perfect. The work of God are perfect. Those work are perfect. The ways of God also, not only the work, but also the ways are perfect. In Psalm 18 verse 30, the ways of God also are perfect. Psalm 18 verse 30, the works perfect, the ways are perfect. And Ecclesiastes chapter 3 verse 11, Ecclesiastes chapter 3 verse 11 stating clearly, everything is perfect on God. God is perfection. If God is perfect and God is complete, there is no lack in God. Is complete. And we know what number is complete. The name of God is Yah. The name of God is Yah. When you go to the Hebrew word, we just talk about, you know, the 10 alphabet, you know, the alphabet, the Hebrew alphabet. When you go to, when you reach the number number 10 is Yah. That's number 10. That's been complete. Completeness. Yah. You have Alpha, Beta, Gimel, you know, Dalet, you know, you have He, Va, you know, Heg, you know, Zion, Heg, Tet, and you have Yod, which is Yah. Yod mean hands. Hands mean those hands. Sometimes that's where we have Yad. That's where you have Yahweh. That the number 10 is completeness. That the reason God said in Leviticus chapter 24 verse 27. I think so. I have to make sure this verse. Leviticus chapter 24 verse 27. You know, God stating clearly he gave authorization to bring your tithe, your 10. Whatsoever you gather as the productivities, you know, from agriculture, God said you have to give 1/10. And God stated in the book of Malachi, chapter 3 verse 10, bring your time to the church, bring your time to the house of God, bring your tithe to the house of God. What is your tithe? Your tithe is 1/10 to what you have received. If you have in $100, you have to give $10. If you get $1,000, you have to give $100. Because this is the 10. Because when you reach number 10, You say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. When you reach number 10, that means God said, this is my area, I am complete. Because when you go to 11, you have to make 10 plus 1. When you have to go to 12, you have to make 10 plus 2. And so, until you reach 100. So 100 is also completeness.